I watched Basket Case. I mentioned it before. James is one of my favorite YouTubers. Unlike most people, because a lot of people they watch his videos instead of the horror movie because they don't like horror, they can't handle horror, but they find him charismatic and they find his videos entertaining. But I watched the horror movies and I watched the kill count, so I have like all his videos on my watch later. And he's talked about for years on his channel and on his other channel, Dead Meat Presents, that this is one of his favorite horror movies. Not his favorite though, that's the thing. And I really did enjoy that one. I didn't like this movie. Uh, they do say a slur at one point in the movie. It was considered a slur at that time, but wasn't as well known. I mean, people still use it to the day. They use the M slur, which is derogatory to little people in a scene. And she's the most likable character in the movie, and she uses it. Um, it didn't make me dislike her, though. I liked Casey. She was a really cool character. Um, so this movie follows this guy, and we don't see what he's carrying around in this picnic basket for most of the movie. We see some kills and we see some weird looking hands, but we don't see it. Eventually, we do get the reveal, and it's just it looks really cool. I like it. It's very gross looking, and his name is Belial, and it's like his conjoined twin, uh, that can like speak to him through his mind. It's a lot like the movie that I watched recently, Malignant, which I loved that movie, but I didn't like this one. This one came out way before, so obviously, if Malignant knew about Basket Case, they would be copying that movie, not the other way around. But I saw Malignant first, so that's what I'm gonna think of first. Um, the acting in this movie isn't great, but it's not the worst I've ever seen, so I'm not gonna really criticize it. Um, it was a decent movie. It was a bit over the place at times. He meets this girl when going to go talk to one of the doctors for Belial, and they become friends rather quickly. They meet one time out in public and they immediately kiss. Like, you barely know this guy, but okay. Um, he tries to take her to the hotel, but Belial had killed somebody there, so he doesn't let her in and just kind of kicks her out. He's like, "No, don't you understand? He's already killed. He might kill you." Yet, for some reason, she still wants something to do with him after this scene. She doesn't think he's crazy. They later have a scene that's about to be a sex scene where, he's feeling up on her. They're about to have sex, but obviously it pisses off Belial because he's this insecure guy that's pissed that he can't have sex. So he just starts screaming. And God, his screaming throughout the movie is definitely annoying. But definitely not the most annoying thing I've seen in a movie. But I did not like it. I didn't like that the lock just disappeared from the movie. Uh, I don't think James mentioned it in the kill count, but in the movie, he does originally have a lock on the picnic basket. But he ends up losing it because he's falling asleep during a movie when he's at the movie theater, and a guy takes the basket because he assumes something's valuable is in there, breaks the lock off, and gets attacked by Belial. He doesn't die though. At least I don't think he does. Like, he gets a little bit scratched up and he gets told not yet. Um After that scene, he never buys a new lock, which is just stupid. Like, he's supposed to be keeping the thing a secret. It's it's supposed to be a secret. Like, that's why he had the lock, was so people couldn't just snoop through it. Plus, Belial's dangerous and kills people, and he knows that. So there should be a lock on it. But this guy who's shown to have money never buys a lock again. Instead, he buys a fucking TV. Which he bought the TV not too long after the lock was broken off the basket. So he bought a TV instead of a lock. And the TV fucking broke immediately. um, Casey was a very entertaining character. We get a scene with them. I actually feel bad for Belial in this scene. He's talking about how ugly his fucking brother is, which is Belial. And God, that's such a shitty thing to do. Casey calls him a slur. And, eventually, the main character gets too drunk and he gets taken upstairs by Casey to go to bed. We get this scene where he goes and picks up the picnic basket, and I did like the acting in that scene. I did. He looks like he's asleep, but suddenly, for seemingly no reason at all, he gets up and goes and picks up the basket. And, the way he gets up, wide awake immediately, because Belial's talking in his head. I love that. That was a really cool scene. Obviously, she doesn't realize that, though, which weirds her out. She decides to look into the picnic basket, and I was, yelling at the screen, "Don't do it! Don't do it!" But she opens it, and there's nothing in there. She goes to her room, and Belial's in there being a pervert. He ends up taking her underwear and shit and sniffing it in, the basket. It's gross. Somehow, even though Dwayne's love interest never gave him her address, she only gave him her phone number, and when they met out at a location that they had already agreed on. And when they did end up going somewhere, they went to the hotel. Somehow, Belial is able to find the fucking house she lives in New York City, a big town, big city. He's able to find where she lives, and he ends up sexually assaulting her and murdering her. That is when I did not like this movie. It's clearly supposed to be funny, at least somewhat funny. And I've never liked sexual assault scenes in horror or in any movie, really. Every now and then it might fit the story, and it might not be graphic or shown on screen, and I think that's a tasteful way to do it. But here it is clearly oh look, he can't rape her, and Dwayne takes him. He's threatening him, saying, "Next time I get my hands on you, I'll kill you." Even though he did get his hands on him to put him in the basket in the first place. So, I mean, it's not a criticism of the movie, but I did think that was funny. You already had your hands on him. What do you mean the next time? It's not like he just jumped into the basket willingly. They get into a little fight. Fucking Belial grabs his dick in a really cool shot. He fucking lifts him up in the air and he's screaming. They end up falling out the window and presumably dying. But they made a sequel 8 years later and a third movie, which I will not be watching them because I didn't give a fuck about this movie. Just like I didn't really like Reanimator, so I didn't watch the second and third one. I personally don't get why James likes this movie, but I understand that everybody has their own thing. I did really enjoy The Thing, and that is his favorite movie. So, yeah, it's whatever. I didn't really care for any of the kills in this movie either. Nothing special.